What the hell is going on with Jimmy Garoppolo?
Well, that's what I keep thinking.
Yes.
I read the papers. I'm online doing this stuff, and all the time I read they don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. They're probably going to trade him. Well, how come they haven't traded him yet? When is the trade supposed to take place?
Right.
I mean,
because what they're doing right now is selling his jersey, a new jersey with his name on it. That's what they're doing.
Yeah. So again, Iggy, there's two things that are going on. One, there's the media's narrative that he's out of here, and the other guy, Lance, is the quarterback. That's the media narrative.
Yes.
But then there's reality. And I always say to myself, what am I really seeing and what am I really hearing? I'm really seeing and hearing that he's still here. Even though he's overpaid, even though they don't like him, even though they traded up to get the other guy, he's still here, no matter what the media's narrative is. So either they're going to trade him at some point, but why not now? Or they're not going to trade him, and they're going to start the season with him. And as you know, we have a big bet of a $50 bottle of wine. I'm saying he starts the first game.
You could argue that the reason not to trade him is because his value is very low, and maybe they could increase it after one good preseason game. If he goes out there and plays one good game in preseason, they could trade him after that. I used to call it the pump and dump. They did it like with the stock. Pump it up, you dump it. They did it with Vance McDonald a few years ago. That's my only theory, is that his value is so low, and what they've – I'm sure that the Patriots would trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. They might give up a 7th-round pick for him. And maybe the Niners feel that's a slap in the face, and it would only help them to wait a couple of months. But the question I have is, what is Jimmy Garoppolo doing these days? What do you think his attitude is? Is his attitude, I'm doing everything I can to get this job back and make this my job? Or do you think he's hanging out in Chicago where he's from saying, you know what, I'll be very quiet. I'm not going to make a public stink about this, but I'm ready to go. When you guys say I'm out, I'm happy. Because it seems like the writing's on the wall one way or another.
Iggy, I'd say both. I'd say he's doing both. That if he gets a chance to compete, he'll do it. If not, he'll go where they send him. But again, I've never met him. But if he's a competitor, he's thinking, screw the 49ers. I'm going to make it hard for them. I'm going to really play well, or I'm going to go on another team and embarrass them. That's what a competitor would think.
Of course. I'm not necessarily sure he's a competitor. We've also wondered aloud on this show if he's going to be in the league in a few years. Here's all I see. I see that Trey Lance is working out with starters on the offense. He's worked out with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and another wide receiver. Nothing from Jimmy Garoppolo. From what I understand, he's in Chicago right now, where he's from, hanging around with his family, and that's fine. But it seems like Trey Lance is sort of taking the bull by the horns, to use a terrible cliche, and Jimmy Garoppolo is waiting. And I can't help but notice that he was practicing the last 4 weeks of last season and didn't play. He was sitting up in a box. So I don't know what's going on. It seems like he's not necessarily, doesn't seem like he's extremely motivated to play for the 49ers. Or maybe I'm just misreading someone who's hard to read. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Before other seasons, did he work out with 49ers wide receivers?
Hell yes. Last season in particular, there was no offseason program. So a bunch of people got together in Nashville, and he was there because it's his team. Now, there haven't been as many, but there have been some, and they've always been with Trey Lance. And it's like Jimmy's just hanging out in Chicago saying, you know what, take the team. I don't want the team. I'd like to go. But I'm not going to request a trade publicly because that would make me look bad. It's not who I am. I'm just going to be polite and be quiet. But that's what I kind of read from him right now. If I'm wrong, Jimmy, please say it.
That's very interesting. So you're saying his behavior is different from what it was in the past?
Yeah, I mean, last year, he injured his ankle twice, okay? The first time, he came back 2 weeks later and played on an injured ankle. God love him, because the season wasn't over yet, and he didn't look that great because he wasn't 100% healthy. He got injured again, never saw him again. The season was lost, and he did practice the last 3-4 weeks of the season. A lot of players came back to play in games that didn't matter. Kittle did. Jimmy Ward did. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't. He sat up in a luxury box with no Niners gear on, and it looked a little weird. Like maybe he felt, you know what, you blame me for this. You rushed me back. You don't have my best interest at heart. I'm sitting out, and and if you want to get rid of me, then I'm game. Get rid of me. and bring in someone else and let me go. It almost feels like he's waiting patiently in purgatory.
Interesting.
Would you blame him if he felt like the Niners scapegoated him and he'd like a fresh start somewhere else?
No, I would not blame him. No, I would not blame him. I want to come back to Trey Lance. So to use a cliche, he's taking the play away from Jimmy. He's acting,
and Jimmy's not fighting back. See, to me, if all 49ers hired some kid who's 21 to take my job, but I'm still here, and he started organizing all kind of stuff, I'd be organizing too and say, no, it's still my site. You follow what I do until I'm gone. It seems like Jimmy's like, hey man, if you want it, go ahead. I don't want to be here. It's fine.
Whoa.
It's not fine. Go ahead, work out with Debo. I'm not going to be there. So he's hanging out in Chicago. That's fine. But he's just I feel like if the teammates look at how much Trey wants to be our quarterback, and look at Jimmy. I don't know what Jimmy wants. It could make it easier on Trey Lance to win this competition quicker. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. I would.
Yeah.
Again, this stuff is fascinating, and I wish it's fascinating.
Yes.
If I were Jimmy, clearly I would come into training camp in the best possible shape.
Yes.
Clearly. I would give Trey Lance a run for his money.
Hell yeah.
Just out of professional pride.
Yes.
And would see then what happens after that is not up to him, it's up to the Niners.
Yeah.
I hope that where he is now, he's really on an exercise program and he's throwing the ball to college receivers or other people we don't know about.
Yes.
I hope.
Right.
In addition, I want that training camp to be sizzling with competition.
Me too.
And I don't mean for the third quarterback. I mean for those two guys.
But I do want to say, sizzling with competition, that third quarterback competition matters too. Because if the Niners do want to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and free up that money and use it in other places, they got to know they got a good backup quarterback behind Trey Lance. They got to know. And they don't know what those two guys have. They haven't seen him play.
Right.
So they got to do a lot of practicing. They got to figure out how to get it all in there.
Okay, I want to say one other thing.
Sure.
I admit, I don't know what the hell's going on with Jimmy. I have a preference, and this is not necessary for the best of the team, the good of the team, just how I feel about things.
Yeah. I
hope in training camp, Jimmy kicks that kid's butt.
Yeah.
And the reason is I'm always for the old guy.
Yeah.
I have nothing. I've never met either one. I'm sure Trey Lance is a good guy. He's going to get his turn. I want to see a fight. I want to see a fight. I want to see Jimmy have the pride that we sometimes wonder if he does.
Stick up for yourself, Jimmy. Fight back, Jimmy.
Fight back. Stick up.
The way I interpret all this is that Trey Lance, they're both working. They're both athletes. Trey Lance is campaigning for the job. He's putting his work on social media. He's winning over his teammates. He's spending time with Kittle and Debo and Ayuk. He's campaigning for the job, and Jimmy isn't. Doesn't mean he's not working. Doesn't mean he won't win the competition, but he's not going to do that stuff because who knows how much he really wants to be here. He just wants to do his thing.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Well, this clearly continues.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a Rams fan who watches my show all the time. He says Kyle's 31-36 record deserves the Cohn scrutiny. We've done it. Don't worry. You watch us enough to know we do it.
We'll do it.
Amen. Yimmy Yee. Okay, Jeremy. Amen to you. Matt H says family-friendly show, but I always think Jimmy became very private after dating a woman with a certain career went viral. He is guarded in his personal life.
If that's true, it's his business.
Yeah, his business. I don't think I'm really talking about his lack of social media presence. I'm talking about the fact that Trey Lance is organizing team activities and Jimmy's letting him. It'd be a real easy way for Jimmy to be like, no, it's not your team yet, dude. You want to do a thing in Nashville? I'm doing one in Seattle. Everyone come to Seattle and pick who you want to be. Who are you going to follow?